everybody, and welcome to Ask Ana-La-Rai. And we're still answering questions that came through in the month of March. So keep them coming, and we will get this up as often as we can. Our first question today comes from Carol Natalia, and she asks, the alchemy has posed the question several times. How many of you thought your ascension would be seeing angels, money systems changing, connecting with our star brothers and sisters, and ascended masters, and about 4 other things? Yes, we've been told that we are anchoring onto the earth. If not those things, what are we working so hard to anchor into our reality? Okay, great question. So the alchemy or first light want to come forth. I think they're gonna. Greetings, beloved ones. We are first light, and we thank you for this wonderful question. What we would say that in the past, you were very often told of these things. Money systems changing, the angels showing up en masse, seeing aliens land, all of these things and more. And that was the dreams of some. This was what other humans really wanted to see. It was what would be proof for them. And these turned into stories that were shared. And it doesn't mean, it was what they saw in their dream time, so to speak. It is how they wanted the world to be. And it doesn't mean that the information wasn't correct. But what happened is it was like a little bit of a carrot in the stick, in that all of those things were tangible things you could hold on to help you focus on what the future would be like, to help you focus on the change. If they came forth, or the beings of light at that time, or we or any others came forth and simply said, we want to raise the vibration on your planet, but it will be really tough. And you will have pandemics and wars and systems failing, and it will be a difficult time. Would you have worked towards that? Would you have worked towards that? And some of you would have. But it was much more difficult for people to understand what it was about when we said raising the vibration. So when you say, what are we working to anchor into the reality? Well, we would say that what you are trying to anchor is a new reality, And until that new reality comes forth, you are trying to anchor higher vibrations. You are trying to anchor more peace. You are trying to anchor the perspectives of clarity and understanding. You are trying to dissolve the veils and see through the manipulations and what is really going on your planet. You're trying to anchor in what you would call truth, so that more people can feel this. You are trying to bring forth more love and more self-love, all of these things. And yes, eventually, will you see your star brothers and sisters? Well, of course you will. Eventually, will you see the angelics? And will the systems on your planet change? Yes, they will. But we can't give you a date. And these are the results that will come of a new reality. And a new reality is a new dimension. And once you move into the expansion, once you move into more, to higher vibrations, more self-awareness, more self-awareness. Once you move into this, then your perspective on what everything is currently will change. It will change. So as you let go of your old beliefs, as you clear your wounds, as you raise your vibration, it allows your consciousness to expand. And as your consciousness continues to expand, it changes your perspective on everything here in the world you are living in right now. And the more people that this happens with, the easier other things change, because then there is more of a shared vision, a shared consciousness. The more you're moving into that unified field or unity consciousness on your planet. And so, yes, those things are still on the table, so to speak. But they are the result. They are not the end game. They are some of the byproducts of what the good things will be as the vibration changes, as the consciousness changes. So we hope that explains it a little better. Okay. All right, so let's see what else we have here. And so this next question comes from Debbie in Canada. I often feel there is no purpose for me to be here, and at times feel really ready to go now. It's odd to say, but just not too interested in anything in particular, or life in that matter. Clarity on what this is really about. Thank you. Okay, so it's Ana-La-Rai here answering this first of all. So what's coming up as I feel the energy of your question is that either from this lifetime or from another lifetime, and this has happened to many, that you have shielded yourself energetically so that you don't feel a lot because you've experienced trauma or painful events that were just awful and too difficult to bear, whether you remember them or not, and whether they're from this lifetime or from another lifetime. And so in doing that, in that levels of protection around you, in that shielding yourself, you also limit the joy and the positive experiences, and you limit how you experience life, right? Because when you move into that kind of fear or that kind of protection, or always protecting your heart so you don't get hurt, not being vulnerable, then you don't take the same joy in things. You don't feel that there is a purpose because you're trying to protect yourself all the time. So we all have a purpose, and it doesn't have to be a big purpose. But I would say, from my perspective and from what my guides always tell me, our purpose is really to be happy and to find joy. Our purpose, and some of us have other purposes on top of that, but for all of us, it's about, being happy, finding joy, having experiences here on planet Earth. It's about our growth. And, from all that the guides tell me and what I've seen is we as souls come to planet Earth to grow, to experience things in the physical that we don't get in other dimensions and places. And Earth is a pretty magical place. But at the same time, there are some that have a bigger purpose, that have planetary work to do, or are guided to be a healer or a photographer, or others that are caregivers. There are so many things that are purposes, and your purpose could simply be to be a great baker, or to love your children, or to be a good neighbor. So it's not that you have to feel like you have to be out in the world doing something, because that's, from what the guides tell me, that really isn't it. It's about the inner work. Are you holding peace? Are you kind? Are you listening to the inner voices, to the inner knowing? Are you moving through your traumas and your beliefs and your wounds to raise your own vibration? So I would say, Debbie, that because you don't feel purpose at this point in time, it feels like, and this would be for many of you, not just Debbie, that you have really numbed yourself down so that you're not experiencing the trauma and the pain and the disappointment and the anger and the frustration and the betrayal and all those things. So I'm sending you big hugs and lots of love, and know that just, sharing your smile in the grocery store is a great way to move forward. All right? Thanks for writing in, Debbie. Okay, so So this one is from Singapore, from Diana. For the sake of population control, animals are created to eat other animals, and I find that cruel and unnecessary. Why can't the population of each species of animals be controlled via automatic birth control? That is, animals will automatically produce less offspring when they've reached a certain number. Greetings, beloved one. I am Mother Gaia, and I come forth to answer this question. And I share with you and say that was the original plan. And on your planet, in places where there is very little human interaction, that's exactly what happens. Animals, the population control, as you call it, the cycles of birth and death and how many of each type of animal is naturally taken care of within nature. When there are too many deer, for example, either there becomes a food shortage, or there might become a disease, or a predator will become more predominant or move into the area that feeds on deer. And that is the balance in the ecosystem. And that's how it was always meant to be. But it has changed because of humanity. And so once humans moved in, everything shifted, where humans chose to want to clear the land, and then the animal kingdom had to move, or predators had to find food in different places and then went after domestic stocks. And so then farmers or ranchers would kill the predators, and then it would change the ecosystem. So it is really the imbalance within humanity, not yet living in full resonance and harmony with nature, that is causing this. So we would say that the more that you move into harmony and resonance with nature, the simpler this becomes, and the less you try and block out. It is like in cities where they get rid of all the raccoons or the animals, that this has been their path, or that they walk on for food for millennia, and now there's a new construction, and so they have to change. So most of this, we would say, is, or all of it, is really about humanity. So we hope that answers your question. I am Mother Gaia. All right, thank you everybody, and we will continue. I just looked up and saw we've been a little bit of time, and we will continue with the questions as they come in. And Lori from the US, we haven't forgotten your question, we just haven't managed to get there. So just sign up with the sparklesoflove.love and sign up for the newsletter, and we are happy to answer your questions here. Bye for now.